Welcome to What's the Tea? I'm your host, always at Man 316, and welcome to What's the Tea presents our WrestleMania 41 Teacap. Now, with WrestleMania being in Las Vegas this year, we're going to do something special when it comes to grading matches. As you can see, I have a Joker here. Well, you may not be able to see it because the camera quality may not be the best, so I apologize for that. And what a Joker basically means is if you haven't seen WrestleMania yet, skip this match at all costs because there's nothing special about it, and it just did not live up to the hype, or it just really wasn't great always. Now, the Jack means this was a good match, but it really could have been better in some ways. So that's what that means. The Ace. This means this match was great, and that it was probably one of the best matches on the card, even into it. I also got Kings and Queens, which basically all you have to do to get 21 and to get blackjack is you just add an ace to it. So if I say a match is back or blackjack, it basically means it was, in my opinion, the best match of the entire weekend. So now that I've explained the grading system, let's talk about WrestleMania 41. At first, let's talk about the stage. I think it was really cool the way they did this. And I got vibes from WrestleMania 39 when they had the stage where they'd make the entrances as this big movie theater, which obviously, to quote the very famous meme, was absolute cinema. And yes, that stage was really cool. This stage was really cool too, because where they make their entrances out of is basically built like a big casino or a big hotel. Which, hey, man, we're in Las Vegas. It makes perfect sense. And what I did notice is you've actually got these small screens that are shaped like cards going down the rafters of Allegiant Stadium. Again, I thought this was a nice touch of putting the Las Vegas spin on things. So I thought that was really cool. Also, the pyro looked really good for the entrances. And you know what I thought was kind of interesting? They actually had seating available in the casino stage setup, which was really cool and a nice detail. Alright, so let's get into the matchups. Jey Uso versus Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship. Now, I will just say, this match was exactly what I thought it was going to be. It was hard hitting, it was emotional, it was drama driven in a lot of ways, and it was just a really good match. And it was cool getting to see Jey win the World Heavyweight Championship and have that moment where with his brother giving him the title. I thought that was really cool. And it's kind of interesting the way Jey won this match. He used Gunther's rear naked choke against him and got him to tap out. Like, that's something you kind of rarely see nowadays in wrestling. But hey, it's WrestleMania. I get it. You want to go big for this match. That's exactly what they did. And this was a good match. So I'm going to give this one, I'm going to give it an ace. I'm giving it an ace because it was a good match. It was hard hitting. The crowd was into it. And they were yeeting all over Las Vegas. I know I said the Royal Rumble was the only time I did it. But congrats to Jey Uso. Jey, this is for you, my man. Yeet. Jey Uso is your World Heavyweight Champion. Alright, moving on to the next match. You had the New Day against the Viking Raiders. Now listen, the New Day and the Viking Raiders are both great tag teams. The New Day, they're obviously one of the best tag teams of all time. The Viking Raiders, their style reminds me so much of the Natural Disasters and the Road Warriors. Because they're big and they will hit you hard. So I like these games. They're really good. overall for the match, it really needed a stipulation. Like, why are we not getting the tables at WrestleMania for a tag match? I mean, it just feels like a war crime to me. The fact that this was not a TLC match or this wasn't a ladder match. Because it would have made this match so much better. And from just this being a normal match, it wasn't bad in some ways, but it was kind of boring in some ways too. Like, if you gave this match a stipulation, I think it would have made this better. Because last year, you had the Raw and SmackDown tag titles on the line in a TLC match, which is basically heaven for pro wrestling fans when it comes to tag matches. Because you have TLC 2, where it was Edge, Christian, the Hardy Boys, the Dudley Boys, and it was just a fucking masterpiece of a match, because it had those great spots. You didn't have this here. And the New Day won the match in the end. I really could have seen that coming, because it's like, they like to put the tag titles on the New Day. I get it. They're a great tag team like that. But in some ways, I would have kept it on the Viking Raiders. Because Eric and Ivar, they work really well together. And their combos are just great. So I would have really thought that this would have turned out to be a better match if they added stipulation to the match. But it is what it is. Congrats to the New Day, the new World Tag Team Champions. I'm going to give this one. Listen, it's not getting a Joker, and it's just for obvious reasons. These guys are good tag teams. It's not their fault this match wasn't that great. It's just the way it was produced, the way they put it all together and said, okay, we don't need a stipulation for this. When in reality, yes, you did need a stipulation for this match. And they didn't do that. And the other thing, too, with this, the attires for the New Day and the Viking Raiders, it looked really good. But as I've kind of learned from watching LFG, WWE Legends and Future Greats, you want to be known for more than just your attire. You want to have your match known for being great, for having these really cool moments. And this match didn't get that. But I think it at least deserves a check. And trust me, we will be using the Joker card at some point. Probably very soon. Next we had Naomi versus Jade Cargill. And these two actually made history. This is the first time a non-title women's match has been booked at WrestleMania. And that's just crazy to say, because there have probably been some great one-on-one feuds. It didn't involve a championship that could have been at WrestleMania in the past. But here we are. And starting with the entrances, man, that was really cool how they got the local weatherman to do Jade's entrance. Because, she says, the storm is here, or the storm is coming, and everything like that. And it was cool how they just have this weatherman going, oh, it looks like clear skies. Oh, we got a little storm coming in. Yikes, now we got a big storm coming in. And you see the guy, he's kind of getting blown away there. And you see Jade just make her entrance with another storm-inspired gear. I think that was really cool. Then you had Naomi. Man, hats off to Naomi. Because when she is a heel, she is just on it, man. Like, she has taken to this caution gimmick really, really well. Because all I've ever known Naomi to be is a good babyface with the glow gimmick. And yeah, I love that stuff, but I love that we're getting to see her as a heel now. And she's doing this great work. And I like that she used the caution tape for part of her gear. I thought that was cool to just add onto the gimmick there. Now, here's my grade for this match. I think it at least deserves a jack, because towards the end it was starting to get really good. I think the overall problem is that this match was too short, and that if they had more time, it could have built into something really special. And also, Jay just said that crazy move from the top rope, and the audience was back in the match. So it's like, wow, now here we go. This is going to start to pick up. But unfortunately, they just go right into the finish, and it's like, this match could have benefited from more time. But for the effort put on by both, it deserves a jack, in my opinion. And we are moving on. LA Knight, yeah, versus all gas, no brakes, Jacob Fatu for the United States Championship. Now, going into this, I will just say this right off the bat. I think the way they had LA Knight take back the US title from Shinsuke Nakamura was total bullshit. And here's why. You were building something special with Shinsuke as a heel, as this soulless samurai. And I got to see this entrance at the Rumble, and it looked really badass, you know? Like, they started building all this at Survivor Series. And then they have him lose it right back to LA Knight a few months later, and it's like, what are we doing? Like, come on, man. Couldn't we have at least put more effort into this with Shinsuke? Anyways, as for this match, it's a good match. I think it definitely does deserve another jack because it was good. I don't think it was a bad match. You get the best of Jacob Fatu with his crazy high flying offense, and the guy just being built like an absolute tank and hitting very, very hard. And LA Knight, he does what he does. He gets the crowd to say, yeah, every time he does a punch, every time he does an elbow, and that's just what he does. You know, he did a good job leading this match, so I think this was a good match. And congrats to Jacob Fatu. He's officially won his first singles title in WWE. That's awesome. And I think this is good that they had Jacob Fatu win the match. Because hopefully this breathes new life into the US title division on SmackDown. Because you've got Andrade, you've got Carmelo Hayes, you've got a lot of guys back there that are looking for the opportunity. And maybe Jacob is the guy to help them get that opportunity there. We also had our first Joker match of the night. Rey Fenix filling in for Rey Mysterio. Why the fuck did they have Rey Mysterio wrestle the night before on SmackDown? Considering he's on the WrestleMania card. You should not have people that are booked for WrestleMania wrestling on the card the night before. Because you run a high, severe risk of injury, and that's exactly what happened there. So Rey Fenix had to fill in. And the only good thing I can say about this match is Chad Gable's entrance. Like, wow, that was just kind of crazy. The way he has done this El Grande Americano gimmick, it's kind of fun at times, it's kind of irritating at times, but you really like it in some ways. I thought that was funny how he came out with the mariachi band there. That was pretty funny there. But this match gets a Joker. And here's why. It could have been better. Because Rey Fenix, they have been showcasing his high flying abilities and how great this guy is in the ring. And Chad Gable, he's one of the best technical wrestlers and one of the best wrestlers in the world. So you're kind of wondering, why was this match a Joker? It just didn't at any point seem like it was going to build to something great. Like, it just, how do I put this? You have them doing their thing, and it's good so far. Then Rey Fenix gets hurt, they go right into the finish, and it's like, it just didn't live up to the hype. And I know there are going to be people saying, no, it would have been better with Rey Mysterio. And yes, I do kind of agree with that in some ways. But Ray Fenix, he stepped up to the challenge and he delivered in some ways, you know, so I'm going to give the guy his props. Ray, you did a good job there. And now we get to the WWE Women's Championship match. The Queen, Charlotte Flair, the 2025 Women's Royal Rumble winner, taking on Tiffany Stratton, the WWE Women's Champion. Now, first, let's talk about the entrances. I love that Tiffany brought back the Barbie entrance because they literally made the casino stage design look like a Barbie dream house. I thought that was cool. And then you have the three boxes, the two fake Tiffany's, and then the real Tiffany in the middle. And the box opens, and out she comes to the ring. I thought that was really cool. And I'm glad she brought it back. And it's funny, I remember listening to an interview she did with Chris Van Vliet, and she said, someday I'd really love to bring back the Barbie Dream House. And she got to do it at her first WrestleMania. That's really awesome. Love that for her. And then, of course, we have Charlotte Flair. It was unfortunate that she got hurt in December of 2023. Because, you know, I was looking forward to seeing her at WrestleMania 40 again. And that just really sucked that she got hurt. But again, I got to see her win the Rumble. That was really cool. And, you know, going into this, I thought, man, you've got a real dream match here. Because Tiffany was inspired by Charlotte to get into pro wrestling. And I really wish that that's the story they focused on. But then it just developed into a fucking drama. Like, you had the segment on SmackDown Chicago where these two both go off script and they're just shooting with each other. You know, and I'm not going to get into that. A lot of people have talked about that already. I have no interest in talking about that. What I have interest talking what I have interest in talking about is this match. And I loved Charlotte's entrance. This was awesome. Like, first you see the screen. It looks like it's ice going up the casino stage design. And then it turns into diamonds, and you see Charlotte Flair across all the screens. I thought that was a really cool way to do that, you know? Because Charlotte, she's kind of like an ice queen at times. But diamonds are forever, and so is Charlotte Flair. Get used to the idea. And I thought the entrance, like I said, was really cool. Because you see a car drive down part of a ramp, out walks Charlotte with this pink and blue robe. It just looks so amazing. I just loved it. This entrance was just awesome. And again, after her missing WrestleMania 40, you just kind of had a feeling they were going to do it big for her. And that's what they did here. I thought that was great. I love that. As for the match itself, some people hated the way they didn't do a traditional lockup. But honestly, I think the way they just started brawling with each other, it really showed how personal this feud got and how much heat it had with it. And I think it was great the way they did that. And the way that this match, it didn't really feel like a match at first in this first few minutes. It felt like a fight. It felt like a brawl. It felt like Charlotte and Tiffany were going to beat the shit out of each other for real in some ways. And when I say that, I just mean that they're going to lay into each other. I'm not saying wrestling's fake or anything like that. It's scripted. But anyways, getting back into the match. It was hard hitting, and it was a good match in a lot of ways. Like, I see so many people going, oh man, look at all the amount of missed spots in this match. For all the botches and all that shit. It's like, you know, for what this feud started out as, Charlotte and Tiffany can look at this at the end of the day and be proud. They went out there, they put on a good match, you know. And Tiffany, she clearly studied past Charlotte matches. It was like, okay, she's going to do this, she's going to do that. And I think that's great because you can just see that on full display here in this match. In the end, Tiffany wins the match with the prettiest moonsault ever. I am kind of surprised it didn't take more than one of these to put Charlotte down for good. Because what I really thought was we were going to have multiple prettiest moonsault ever. Charlotte's going to kick out the first two, and then the third one is going to be the big crescendo that finishes off the match. But, I kind of get it. They want the finisher to look really strong. I get it. It makes a lot of sense in a lot of ways. But honestly, people are going to look at me and think I'm crazy for this, but it gets an ace. Like I said, for what it turned out to be, this was a good match, and Charlotte and Tiffany should both be proud of this. And in the end, people got what they wanted. Tiffany retained, and maybe this will actually lead to some character development for Charlotte Flair, as we've kind of seen the past week on SmackDown, where it seems like maybe she's kind of becoming a little unhinged, a little unglued in a lot of ways. And I kind of like it. But anyways, hats off to Charlotte and Tiffany. This match was really good. It wasn't great, but it was really good. And I think, honestly, the best thing to do in terms of these two ever facing each other again, let's give it some time, let the heat kind of die down a little bit, and let these two kind of try to figure out who they are. And, let Tiffany have the title for a while. And if you want to do the rematch with Charlotte at some point, do it somewhere down the line that's not like SummerSlam or Money in the Bank or Evolution 2, as I've been hearing is rumored to happen this year, but I'm honestly not sure that's even going to happen, especially with all the releases they did a couple of weeks ago in the women's division, which was flat out stupid to me in some ways. I'll touch on that another time. But anyways, that was a really good match. Hats off to Charlotte and Tiffany. And you may be wondering, Owen, why are you wearing a Tiffany Stratton shirt? Listen, if Charlotte Flair can go out on her shield at WrestleMania and lose, I too can own up to a bet with a good friend of mine. So, a few months before this match, a good friend of mine and I made a bet where if Tiffany won, I would change my Twitter profile pic for a week to any pic of Tiffany Stratton of her choosing. And I would also admit that this is hard for me. The WWE universe isn't on Queen time anymore. It runs on Tiffy time. But I'm a man of my word. I also included that I would wear it for my WrestleMania Teacap. I know it's honestly a cool shirt. I like it because you've got the clock there and you've got it's Tiffy time. I think it's just kind of cool. And the more I wear it, I think it's a really cool shirt. And, I'm always going to be a big fan of Tiffany. Plus, she earned my respect in a lot of ways in that match because I couldn't imagine the nerves you're feeling there, where it's like, not only is it your first WrestleMania, but you're getting to wrestle someone you really look up to, someone that inspired you to get into the business in Charlotte Flair. So, hats off to Tiffany, hats off to Charlotte. This was a good match. And I'm a man of my word, Shay. I said I would do it. I'm a man of my word. Anyways, I didn't watch the main event between CM Punk, Roman Reigns, and Seth Rollins. Listen, in my eyes, Charlotte and Tiffany was the main event. And I get it, people are going to come at me and say, oh, well, it wasn't that great of a match. It's like, listen, to me, that was the match I really wanted to see from night one. It was good in my opinion. Punk, Rollins, Reigns, they went out there, they did their thing. And yes, I did hear about how Paul Heyman not only betrayed Roman Reigns, he betrayed CM Punk. And now he's aligned himself with Seth Rollins. And it's kind of crazy to think that now, given all the history and all the times that Paul Heyman has been a thorn in the side of Seth Rollins, whether it's Punk, whether it's Reigns, whether it's Brock Lesnar, like it's just crazy to see that Seth Rollins is now a Paul Heyman guy. But I'm excited for what's going to come out of this next. Overall, I think night one, you had your cool moments. Like you had Jey Uso and the fans eating all over Vegas. That was cool. Him winning his first world title, or first world singles title. That's awesome. You had Jacob Fatu becoming the United States champion. I think that's great for the division going forward. You had Tiffany Stratton retaining at WrestleMania, getting to wrestle her hero, Charlotte Flair. I thought that was awesome. And, those are really my moments of the night in a lot of ways. But yeah, night one was just kind of not so menos, so, whatever you want to call it. Not bad, but just some things live up to the hype and some things you're just disappointed by. Anyways, let's move on to night two. As we have Rhea Ripley versus Io Sky versus Bianca Belair for the Women's World Championship. Now, it's funny. So many people told me after I posted that pic of Rhea, Bianca, and Io up on the ramp at Elimination Chamber, it's like, oh, this match is gonna suck. It's not gonna be great. And I was the one that believed in this match the whole time and said, this is going to be a classic. And it absolutely was. Like, oh my god, man. My match rating for this. Blackjack. This match was fucking fantastic. It was fast paced. It was hard hitting. You had so many counters. The crowd was loving it. And it was just fantastic in so many ways, man. And I love how they did the ending. You have Rhea hitting the Riptide on Bianca, going for the pin, and then Io hitting the over the moonsault, breaking up the pin, pinning Bianca, ending Bianca's undefeated WrestleMania streak, and or WrestleMania winning streak, because technically she's not undefeated because of the WrestleMania 34 Women's Battle Royal, if you remember correctly. But this match was just amazing. And in the end, like I really wanted, Io got her WrestleMania win. And she got her WrestleMania moment. Hats off to all three of these ladies. What a fucking match. I mean, this is match of the weekend. This is match of WrestleMania. This is match of whatever you want to call it. It was just fantastic. I mean, what a match, man. Congrats to all three of these ladies. Oh yeah, and even though I don't really give a flying fuck about Dave Meltzer, he actually gave it 5 stars. And that's awesome. They were the first 5-star match, 5-star women's match that he's ever graded from WrestleMania for WWE. That's awesome. I love this for all three of them. Because I knew going into this, you have the history. All three of these women are 3 out of the 4 that I thought a few years ago. This is the future of the women's division. You have Io, you have Rhea, you have Bianca. At the time, Dakota Kai, Toni Storm. Like, You look at those 5 women, it's like, wow, the future for this division is so bright, you know? Kind of like my light I'm using to add a little light on the situation for this teacap here. Anyways, what a great match. And we're moving on. Next, we had Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre in a Sin City street fight. Now, I think you guys know what that means. There's going to be tables, there's going to be chairs. Hell, there's even going to be steel stairs. Surprisingly, no ladders. Like, come on, man. We gotta throw a ladder in at some point, right? And the entrances. Drew, he does his very simple entrance. I thought it was really cool. But then you had Damian Priest. He's got one of the guitarists from Slayer doing his theme. And he's doing a really nice job. You know, like, people were like, what the hell is that noise? It's like, no, that's exactly how it was supposed to sound. And the guy nailed it. He just did a great job with this. And you also have the fire in the background. Priest just slowly making his way down the ring. I thought it was really cool. And you know, you kind of knew we were going to get this match at Mania 41. Because let's go back to Mania 40 for a second. Drew McIntyre beats Seth Rollins. And then he goes up on the announce table and he's bragging in the face of CM Punk. Punk grabs his leg out from underneath him. Drew lands on the table. Who comes sprinting down to the ring with his Money in the Bank briefcase? Damian Priest. Priest, at full speed, just bam, clocks Drew McIntyre with the briefcase. Drags McIntyre into the ring. Hits the South of Heaven choke slam. 1, 2, 3. Damian Priest is the World Heavyweight Champion. And Drew McIntyre has lost everything. All in the basic timeline of 5 minutes. I mean, that's just crazy. But in the end, Drew does get his retribution as he beats Damian Priest by putting a steel chair on one of the ring posts and then hitting a claymore onto Priest, and Priest's head hitting the steel chair. 1, 2, 3. Drew McIntyre wins the match. I'm gonna say this was a jack because it's a good match. It was hard hitting, it was brutal in some spots, and it was just a good match. You know, and it just kept the good vibes going for night 2 of WrestleMania. Alright, moving on to our next match. As next we had the Fatal 4-Way for the Intercontinental Championship. The Intercontinental Champion, Braun Breaker, against Dominic Mysterio, against Penta, and against his fellow Judgment Day stablemate for Dominic Mysterio, Finn Balor. Wow, this match was great. I mean, especially that one spot where Braun Breaker literally just jumps off one announce table onto the other. I think it was Finn Balor that he speared. Like, it was just like a car crash. Where it's like, this fist is Braun Breaker. This fist is Finn Balor. Bam! Just hits it and breaks the announce table. Like, it just falls down completely. And I'm surprised they didn't hit the prime hydration station. Because the way Braun Breaker was angled, it looked like he's not only going to hit the table, he's going to drive Finn right through the fucking prime hydration station. It's just going to be really brutal. Anyways, as for the match itself, this was just fantastic. You got the best of Dirty Dominic Mysterio, the best of Penta, who's just been an absolute star on Raw, and just ever since he came to WWE. And then you also have Finn Balor, he's doing his thing. And you have Braun Breaker, who's just an absolute animal. Like, ever since he debuted on the main roster, this guy is just an animal. And he's defended that Intercontinental Championship very well. You know, like, I love me some Braun Breaker. The guy is amazing. But in the end, I really like the finish of the match. I think it was Penta going for the pin on Finn Balor, and then you have Dominic Mysterio. He goes up, he hits the frog splash, breaks up the pin, and he wins the Intercontinental Championship. 1, 2, 3. And I think this is great. For as much shit as I talk about Dirty Dominic Mysterio, he's a great heel. He's gotten so much better in the ring each and every time you see him. This guy is just amazing. And I remember when he won the tag titles with Rey Mysterio at Backlash on Father's Day a few years ago. That was a really cool moment for those guys. But I just kind of wondered, you know, if Dom gets into the business, would he be better as a heel or would he be better as a babyface? And surely enough, we've gotten our answer. Dominic Mysterio is just amazing. In the ring, on the mic, the guy is definitely a future world champion in a lot of ways. And the Intercontinental title, it's my favorite championship in pro wrestling. Like, I get it, there are going to be people saying, oh, what about the World Heavyweight Championship? What about the WWE Championship? What about the Universal Championship? First of all, the Universal Championship was dog shit. I'm just going to call it what it is. It was dog shit. Because it just had so much bad luck for whoever held it. And I just never really gravitated towards the design of it or anything. But to me, the Intercontinental Championship, it's the most important title in pro wrestling. Because look at the history of that championship. Look at who's held it. Macho Man Randy Savage, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock, Seth Rollins, Sami Zayn, AJ Styles held it at one point, Finn Balor, Christian. I think Edge held it too. Like, that's just a whole masterclass of names of great wrestlers. Oh, wait, I forgot one. Kurt Angle, Shawn Michaels, the bad guy himself, AO, Scott Hall. Like, so many greats have held that title. Also, of course, the late great Eddie Guerrero. And that title is like a symbol of excellence in a lot of ways. Excellence of execution, but the Hitman part. Okay, I promise I'm done naming Intercontinental Champions. But I love that title because you just get so many great matches, whether it's a WrestleMania or a Monday Night Raw or a Friday Night SmackDown. And it's just such a legendary title in wrestling. Because a lot of those men that I just named, they went on to be world champions. They went on to be faces of the company for a very long time. So that's what the Intercontinental title means to me in a lot of ways. And if I ever bought a wrestling belt, it would be the Intercontinental Championship. Not the current one. It'd be the classic design with the white strap. Because that is my favorite title in wrestling. And I will always love that title. And you look on the women's side, you have Lyra Valkyria, the first women's Intercontinental Champion. She's going to go on to do great things. She's going to be a women's world champion one day. She's going to win a Royal Rumble one day. And she's going to win Money in the Bank one day. Mark my words. Anyways, my rating for this match, I gotta just say, I'm giving it blackjack. This was a fantastic match. And this is exactly how you should present the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania. The fact this was the first time it was defended in a Fatal 4-Way is fucking baffling to me. because we should have had this a long time ago. And this was just a fantastic match, man. Absolutely amazing. Alright, and we're moving on to find out the answer to Randy Orton's mystery opponents. And it's funny, it's just like I did the Royal Rumble. I wondered in my head, would this be Joe Hendry? I said his name, and he appears, or better yet, instead of say his name and he appears, it was say his name and he is here. I believe in Joe Hendry. I believe in Joe Hendry. Like that theme is just so catchy, man. I love it. It's just a great theme. And this was just an awesome moment for Joe Hendry. And who would have ever thought we would see the TNA World Champion at WrestleMania against Randy Orton? Like, it's just crazy, man. You know? And honestly, for the match, it's a good match. Like, Joe does get a little bit of offense in on Randy, but Randy hits 2 RKOs and wins the match. And Randy does something really cool after the match. He raises the hand to Joe Hendry. And in wrestling, this is a traditional sign of respect. And I guess Randy Orton truly believes in Joe Hendry. I can see why, because this guy is amazing. You know, so that was a great moment, a great moment, and a good match. Like, it's not worthy of a Joker. You know, it is worthy of a Joker though. Logan Paul versus AJ Styles. I mean, I'm not even going to talk about this match. It was that bad that I just am like, nope, nope. I'm doing the Men in Black, the memory gun, where it's like, I am not going to talk about this match because it was a joker and it's an absolute joke having Logan Paul beat AJ Styles, especially when the guy's probably got at least 2 or 3 years left with the company. You know, I mean, that's just fucking happening that they did that. You know, so I'm just gonna move on. We're gonna just pretend that match didn't happen. Okay, so get your Men in Black memory eraser there and just forget that match actually happened. There, that match never happened because I just wiped my mind there. Anyways, next we had to answer the question of who would be Lyra Valkyria's partner against Liv Morgan or Raquel Rodriguez. But first, let's go back to night 1 of WrestleMania, where Bayley is just walking backstage, doing something, and she's attacked. Next thing we know, Bayley is ruled out of WrestleMania. So who would step up and be Lyra Valkyria's tag partner? Well, the answer was actually more obvious than we thought. It was the return of the man, Becky Lynch. And it's kind of funny because remember how 4 years ago at SummerSlam, we were in Las Vegas and everybody wondered if Becky Lynch was going to return at SummerSlam? Guess what happens then? I'm transported back to 3 years ago when I was watching on my phone, hoping and praying Becky would come back. And I heard that very familiar guitar chord that I've come to know and love. And out walked Becky Lynch. And I was like, let's fucking go, man. Yes. Becky is back, man. Let's go. Like, it's just awesome when Becky returns. Especially in Las Vegas, because once again, they popped for it and they loved it. Now, as for the match, and first let me just say, I loved Lyra Valkyria's attire. It looked really cool. The way she had the big white and gold feathers, and the way she braided her hair, it looked really cool. And then you have Becky just coming up, simple and just looking like an absolute badass, like she always does. That's what I love about her entrance. She doesn't need pyro, She doesn't need a car, she doesn't need anything like that. All she needs is Celtic Invasion and that steam popping up on the entranceway and the letters, big and bold, the man, and out walking Becky Lynch. That's what she needs. Because that's what Becky Lynch does. As for the match itself, I'm gonna give it a jack because it is a good match, you know? People are like, oh, Becky's gonna be so rusty in the ring. Boy, she proved you idiots wrong. And Becky and Lyra, the few times we've gotten to see them tag together, they've built this tag team chemistry, which is just awesome, you know? And I kind of think back to when Lita and Becky won the tag titles on Raw a few years ago, and how Becky felt in that moment there of getting to win the titles with her hero, her idol Lita. And you look at Lyra now, she is the women's Intercontinental Champion, but she also gets to win the tag titles with her idol in Becky Lynch. Full circle moment there, you know. I thought that was really cool. So the moment I'm giving a separate grade. That's an ace because you love to see it, man. That was just awesome. And I did kind of like Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez's attire too. I was getting like outsiders vibes with this. Scott Hall and Kevin Nash because they had the red. And it's like, what do you think of when you see red? You think of the NWO, and you think of the NWO Wolfpack in some way, but you also think of the outsider. And I thought that was really cool that they kind of paid homage without really doing that. Because what do you see when you see Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez? You see Shawn Michaels and Diesel, but you could also see Scott Hall and Kevin Nash, you know? So I just thought that was really cool. And finally, oh, wait a second. We also had Stone Cold Steve Austin come out riding his ATV, and he actually rams his ATV into one of the barriers. He didn't hit the fan or anything, but it's just kind of one of those funny moments you see where it's like, yeah, there's the Stone Cold we all know him as. And he comes out, he announces the attendance for both nights, which that was cool. But he also does, if y'all are enjoying WrestleMania, give me a hell yeah. And they were giving him a hell yeah. And he came out there, he drank beers. It was Stone Cold at its finest. And that's what you gotta love about Stone Cold Steve Austin. Because that guy is just great no matter what era it is, no matter what year it is. People will pop for Stone Cold Steve Austin because the man is just amazing. And finally, we get to our main events of WrestleMania 41. John Cena versus Cody Rhodes. And you know, let's talk about the entrances first again here. The way they did John Cena's entrance was just perfect. Because it's still the same John Cena, but it's not the lights, it's not the trumpets, it's not the pyro, it's not anything like that. Hell, he didn't even say hi to his favorite cameraman, Stu, which is what he usually does in his entrance. No, he just comes out, he's got the towel up over him as he's walking down to the ring. It's like, yeah, this is a different John Cena. This is not the John Cena of old who's coming out and going, let's go to work, the time is now, and everything like that. Because he didn't even have his usual entrance things on the screens. It was just black and white, and it just said John Cena. It's like, whoa, this is interesting. So he makes his entrance, and then Cody Rhodes, of course, he's going to get a big entrance. It's his first WrestleMania. Well, and technically last WrestleMania as champion, which, yeah, we'll get into that in just a few minutes here. But I like what they did with his entrance. You had the red, the white, and the blue go up to the top of this casino looking building for the stage. And you got these motocross people just doing tricks. And Cody, he's got a mask on, which I thought that was cool. Because remember how he had the mask last year at WrestleMania? And now he's got a mask where it's like he just pushes a button and it just goes up and reveals his face, which I thought that was a cool detail. You know, people love the whoa because it's just become such a big thing in wrestling. Even before he was in WWE, people were doing the whoa, man. It's just cool. And, you know, I sat there when the bell rang, and it's like you see Cody and John just staring each other down. It's like, wow, there's just so much history here. Because for Cody, John Cena was a mentor to him. He would actually drive John Cena around during his first WWE run. And it's just like a full circle moment there where it's like, wow, you've got Cody Rhodes, who's considered the new John Cena. You've got John Cena, who's now a bad guy. And it's just crazy, you know, to think that this is how far we've gotten, where Cody Rhodes is walking in the WWE champion to WrestleMania. Who in the hell ever thought we were going to see that, man? It's just crazy. It's crazy. It's a full circle moment, and it's just fantastic. As for the match itself, I think the way John Cena was beating down Cody Rhodes, it makes a lot of sense. They even mentioned it that Cena had never, or sorry, Rhodes had never beaten John Cena. Like he was 0-5 or something like that against John Cena all time. So obviously Cena, he comes in with the confidence and the cockiness because it's like he's been there before, he's done this before. And Cody, this is his first WrestleMania walking in the world champion. It's like you gotta imagine the nerves there for Cody in a lot of ways. Anyways, John, he manages to narrow the storm early from Cody, and then John Cena, he's just beating down on Cody Rhodes. And the funny thing is, the crowd is loving it. They're loving everything John Cena is doing. And I remember kind of saying this a few episodes ago that the crowd would gladly take John Cena winning number 17, even at the expense of Cody Rhodes. And that's sad in a lot of ways. Because look at what Cody has done ever since he came back to WWE. He finished the damn story last year in Philadelphia, but now he's lost it all. And I just feel bad for that guy because he's just amazing. And his story, it's just awesome the way he left WWE. He just decided he was going to leave. He goes to all these indie promotions. He wrestles in New Japan. He starts AEW alongside the Young Bucks and Tony Khan. It's like, oh yeah, and he also puts on a pay-per-view that sells out an arena in New Jersey. And it's just crazy, man, you know, that here we are. Cody Rhodes is facing John Cena for the world title. It's just crazy. And now here's the part that I really look at and just go, oh. So I think Cody hit a cutter or something like that, and Cena kicked out. They're both laying down, and we hear Fiend, 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 Fiend. God, that song is so annoying. Out comes Travis Scott. Oh dear God. Who has absolutely no business being in a wrestling ring. You know, like this is just what I'm gonna say. Travis Scott has absolutely no business being in a wrestling ring. I get it, he was there for Elimination Chamber. He beat up Cody Rhodes and all that. Cody got his retribution for that. I get that. But it's just stupid. Because you know who people were really expecting to see? They were expecting to see the final boss, The Rock, who I guess decided, oh, I'm going to get involved in this feud. I'm going to want Cody Rhodes' soul, and I'm going to do this and that, and then I'm just not going to show up. And I'm going to have Travis Scott do this. What the? Like, come on, man. This is the main event of WrestleMania. And Cody Rhodes loses because of Travis fucking Scott. Are you fucking kidding me? What the hell? What are we doing, man? I just don't get it. And you know, there were kind of some parts of that were good. Like you have Cody in the middle of the ring where he's got the title belt in his hands. All he has to do is hit John Cena with the belts. But look at kind of the storytelling too here in this moment. Remember WrestleMania 39? Yes, Cody got some backup there, but he didn't cheat when he had the chance, and he got screwed over by Roman and Solo and Paul Heyman. WrestleMania 40. Cody didn't really do much there. It was his allies coming to even the match for him. Like, he didn't pick up a chair and hit Roman Reigns with it. He didn't do any of that. This is a no holds barred match, essentially. But here in this moment, Cody picks his morals and his beliefs over the WWE Championship. And you know, it's like, wow, this is just crazy. But here he is, he's got the opportunity to just hit Cena with the belt, knock him out cold, hit one crossroads, 1, 2, 3, and you're still a champion. But that's not how this wound up being. As you see that moment, and I like how in commentary, you're like, Cody doesn't want to do this. And I think it was Pat McAfee that said this. He goes, but John Cena's okay being the bad guy. And he plonks Cody with the belt 2 times. Attitude adjustment. 1, 2, 3. John Cena has done it. He wins his 17th World Championship. And he breaks the record held by Ric Flair. Just like he said he would. Now, didn't Ric Flair kind of hold more championships than 16? Because, listen, while I'm not the biggest fan of this guy, I'm just going to say it. You might need an asterisk for this one. You know, because are we really sure that, excuse me, are we really sure that John Cena broke the record? Or is this just kind of WWE saying, we're not counting the other titles? Like, this is just kind of what I'm, getting at here. Is that Ric Flair won more titles. Like my dad and I, we talk about Ric Flair a lot, and I think we kind of talked about this, where it's like, he did win more titles outside of WWE, but they just don't count them. They only count the 16 titles. And the even funnier thing, Ric Flair only won the World Championship in WWE 1 time. And for them not to be counting other titles, it's like, where's the asterisks on this? Because are we really sure that John Cena broke the record? Because maybe we're forgetting some championships here. Because, like I said, let's remember, Ric Flair won more titles outside of WWE. but I guess they're just not counting some of those. Anyways, my overall thoughts. Listen, the match was good. It was good. But the ending gets a joke because Travis Scott has absolutely no business being in a wrestling ring. The guy is not Bad Bunny. He's not Pat McAfee. He's just him. With the whole thing of, oh, I did the theme for Monday Night Raw, so I'm going to come out here and I'm going to toss Cody Rhodes the championship. Because bullshit booking, you know? And that's just kind of what I'm getting at there. But yeah, congrats to John Cena on his 17th World Championship. Even though we all know in a few years that name will be back in the name of Flair because someone who's earned that right, Charlotte Flair, is going to win 18 and she's going to break that record. Mark my words. You will remember the day I said this, and you will know that she was the one to do it. And you will know that on this day, I said it would happen. And it did. Anyways, night 2 of WrestleMania was definitely better than night 1. You had more cool moments, you had more great matches. The crowd really seemed more into night 2 than night 1. So, that's kind of where I'm basing on here. And overall, this was not the worst WrestleMania. Was it underwhelming? Yes. Was the main event something people really didn't want to see in a lot of ways? Yes, especially with the finish. But you know what? It was a good WrestleMania. It wasn't a great WrestleMania, but it was a good WrestleMania. Because you had a lot of great moments. And the matches were good. The effort was there. This was not WrestleMania 9. This was not WrestleMania 32. This was not WrestleMania 34. This was not WrestleMania 33. It was WrestleMania 41. And you know what? Despite the lack of some of the build for some of these matches, they were good for what they were, you know? So I give people a lot of credit there for what they did, these matches. Hats off to the people that were part of this. I hope the people that were there had a good time and just enjoyed everything they had set up, you know? So yeah, in my opinion, this WrestleMania overall gets a um, it wasn't blackjack, but I think it's worthy of an ace. Like I said, you've got cool moments, you've got great matches. It still lives up to the hype in a lot of ways. So it deserves an ace, you know. Well, I think that just about does it for all the time. Excuse me, something. Tea we have thrown us tea. I've been your host always at OnlyMan316, and I'd just like to take this time to say we're reaching a big milestone with the next episode. The next episode is my 50th episode that I've ever recorded. And all I gotta say to each and every one of you guys is thank you for all the love, all the support you've shown to this program. And as a big reward, too, I've decided to do this summer. I want to dedicate this summer to you guys. As much as I love kind of talking about my story and telling you guys about what got me into pro wrestling, I want to hear what got you guys into pro wrestling. What do you love about it? And what is the thing that continues to make you love pro wrestling? So I'm opening up this show to you. If you want to be on What's the Tea, hit me up at EllenTheMan316. I would love to have you guys on. So this summer is for you guys. The kitchen is open to you guys. And I would love to have you on. And like I said, with episode 50, It's my 50th episode I've ever recorded, and it's just amazing that this program has really gotten this far. And I'm just so happy of everything I've accomplished with this show. And I've just been able to give you guys a good show. You know, like that's all I ever wanted was to talk pro wrestling, sports, entertainment. And again, as I always say, whatever's going on in this crazy TV channel we call the planet Earth. But yeah, that's just what I love about it and what I love getting to do each and every time that I set up a mic, put my headset on, or set up this camera, grab this T mug, grab that light feature that you can't really see. Grab these playing cards because WrestleMania was in Las Vegas. So that's just what I love about this, you know. Oh yeah, I also wear this new microphone that I got. You know, hope you guys like that. But that's just what I love about it. And here is the big announcement for the 50th episode. For the 50th episode, I'm going to take you back to some very uncertain time. And I'm going to take you back to the WrestleMania where nobody showed up. That's right, we're going to WrestleMania 36 as I give my retrospective and my tea time salute to WrestleMania 36. Because in a lot of ways, it was unique, it was special, and you know, it was really one of the only things we had during the pandemic to look forward to in some way. And you know, that was just really cool that we still had wrestling, even though we had a lot of things that got canceled. And the pandemic was just really a very uncertain time for everything, you know? But, anyways, I think that just about does it here. As always, before I go, peace, love. Oh, fuck, I have not. Tea, wrestling, sports, entertainment, and whatever's going on in this crazy TV channel we call the planet Earth. Thank you guys so much. And of course, before I go, always stay true to yourself and always only sip your tea. Thank you guys so much. Have a great one. I don't know when the next one will be, probably in a couple of weeks. Don't know if it'll be on camera. We'll see about that. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this one. Peace. I'm out. And I'm bringing it back. Toodles.